Eric Brown, MOBO-Media, MOBO-Media. Hey, I thought I'd get on here and talk about a family reunion we just had. I did a video before the family reunion in preparation for it, and now it's behind us. June 28th, we had our family reunion up in Arlington, Texas. It was just an overwhelming success, not because it was a time to come and eat and bond and hug, but also we left away with some wonderful food for thought and wonderful nuggets for the family. First and foremost, I want to thank you to a lot of folks that that came to this reunion that didn't come to last year's reunion. So it shows that things are evolving, things are getting better, and more people are coming to grips with this is a time for us to come together to nurture us and to celebrate us and to celebrate the, just really celebrate family. That's what it's all about. And one of the things I hit home on, I touched on, it doesn't matter if you're not getting along with someone, if there's infighting, if you don't even want to talk to someone, that's okay. But just show up to the family reunion. Just show up as that one unit, because at the end of the day, it's not just for you, it's for the whole. It's not for any one individual, it's for the whole. It would be sad for someone not to come to the reunion because of someone else at the reunion. It's almost like you don't want to see the forest for one tree, and that doesn't make any sense. And so what I try to convey to folks is that it doesn't matter what condition you come in, whether you're talking or not, you don't have to speak with each other, or it doesn't matter what condition you're in, just show up. Just show up and be a part of this beautiful thing called family. One of the most wonderful things about our family reunions, we did a family circle. We did a family circle toward the end. And the family circle consisted of just kind of how we closed out the reunion. We did the eating and we said prayer over the food and things like that. The kids playing and music playing. But it came a time for some seriousness, and we talked about a couple of things. First of all, I had an aunt who gave a very powerful and moving sermon / prayer for the family. And I'm gonna tell you, man, she really touched a lot of folks out there. She touched me out there. I mean, it was very appropriate for the moment. I mean, she hit every nail on the head. I also had an aunt out there to talk about the future of the family reunion and talk about others getting involved and the young folks, volunteering and having a committee and those sorts of things. And so we're working on that for the family reunion. I got up and spoke on a couple of things. One of the things I spoke on was mental health. Mental health is one of the, I think, it's one of those things out there that's not talked about enough. There's a stigma associated with mental health. We get that. But a lot of families suffer in silence. A lot of people suffer in silence. And one of the things I wanted to convey to my family is there's nothing wrong with something being wrong. Not at all. With the physical aspect of our bodies, we go to the hospital, we do everything we can to get right. If I got a pain on my wrist, I'm gonna get rid of that pain any way I can. If I got a broken leg, I'm gonna go to the doctor, they're gonna fix the leg. They may put me on pain medications. No different if you have issues with the brain, with your mind, with your mental. It also can be broken. It can get tired. It can be, it can ail, and it can be healed. It can be healed. Typically what happens with a mind that's injured like that is you rest it and take time for yourself to try to, get back your baseline self. Your baseline self is yourself without all the crazy thoughts and things in your head. And what I mean by that is that, in the process of trying to healing yourself mentally, you need to cleanse your mind of stuff that's not benefiting your mind. But we touched on mental health, particularly in the Black community. It's so important for us because, the mental health system itself, for Blacks, it's just, I'm in mental health and it's not a racial thing. This is factual. The mental health system currently is not adequately set up for Black trauma or the things that Black folks have had to endure, and they continue to endure. And there's some things I touched on. I also touched on checking on each other as family. We got to get back to checking on each other. We've kind of gotten away from that. That's one of the biggest, I think, most important aspects of mental health care that I think you can have. Just check on each other. Call each other, even if it's a text. Because I also touched on those things that you watch out for. And one of the biggest things you watch out for is isolation. Even agitation can be a sign of mental health, low energy, all that stuff. I touched on a lot of different things. But I also spoke on an example of, two people not getting along with each other, not even knowing why. For example, a person may be depressed, very depressed. With depression, also, some people get agitated. Person can call another person who is agitated, not knowing that person is depressed. Next thing you know, they're mad at each other and they're not speaking for years, all because a person was broken, a person was depressed. So I tell my family, always look beyond the person, always look beyond the person, because you never know what someone is going through. But that was a very touchy subject, and a lot of folks actually stood up and talked about the struggles they've had with mental health. It's just something I think is not talked about enough in my community, so I plan on doing that more. But in general, I think mental health is not talked about more enough. For the Air Force, my job was to get rid of the stigma. I would go around and let folks know it was okay to get help, okay to seek help for, if you're having thoughts of suicide and these sorts of things. And so I think the mental health part of the discussion at the family reunion, I think it touched some people. But I'm going to continue to dig away at that, because that's something that's near and dear to my heart. I also talk about the importance of family reunions, because it doesn't matter if you're not getting along with somebody, if you're mad at somebody, y'all are fighting, y'all upset, y'all ain't talking, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter. Just show up. Just show up. Show up not just for the other person, show up for the entire family, show up for one unit. It's so important for people to get past grievances and hurt and pain. And I can't say how much hurt and pain the person is going through, but showing up at a family reunion to support the family, I think is so important. But all in all, it was a great reunion. A lot of faces were there that were not at our last reunion. Shouts out to my little cousin Camry. Shouts out to Big Shank. Shouts out to Tanya and her family, Coco, Little Mama. Shout out to everybody that showed up to the family reunion to celebrate love, unity, and strength, because that's what family is all about. Our family has endured over the years. It's endured. But one thing I can say about our family is we know when to come together, when it's time to come together. We come together in times of sorrow, and so I just thought it's a great idea to, from time to time, come together to promote happiness and promote, the good that comes from our family. And so, again, I believe first and foremost that you can't just have a family reunion without leaving away armed with something that you didn't come with, armed with something in your tool bag, either leaving away a better person, leaving away a bigger person, leaving them away more enlightened, more educated. It's just so important that family reunions are held not just to eat and to laugh and to listen to music, but also to educate, to nourish, and to uplift. That is so important. Because today the family is it's become a rarity. I just saw a report recently. They said family reunions are down about 47% since 1997. Number of reasons for that. A lot of the older folks are dying off. And a lot of younger folks just not stepping up. And so between myself and some other members of the family, our young folks are willing to step up. It's just a matter of us sitting down and letting them know which direction to head in and how to keep this thing rolling. So if anybody out there considering holding a family reunion, I would ask you to do so. I highly recommend that you do so. It is so important just be in the presence of other family members. Doesn't matter if you hadn't seen them in years. Doesn't matter if you're not talking to them. Doesn't matter if you don't even want to look at them. Just be in the presence of family. That's a lovely energy. It's a lovely energy. Hey, with that, man, our family reunion was great. It went off without a hitch. Look forward to the next one. We'll likely probably do something around the holidays. But yeah, man, family reunions, they are becoming less and less. But all it takes is one person to stand up and say, hey, let's get together and make it happen. It's really not as difficult. The biggest thing is once you got a location, everything else falls into place. Everybody just come together. Everybody has a part, whether it's bringing the side dish or bringing the meat, cooler for ice or whatever. Everybody has a part. And it all comes together into one big, beautiful event called a family reunion. With that, this is Eric Brown. Good luck to you on y'all's family reunion if you're planning one. And if you're not planning one, consider doing so. With that, this is Eric Brown, and that's nothing like family. Nothing like family. Y'all take care. Bye-bye.